We truly have one of the best full moons of 2025 on the horizon line, coming up October the 6th at 14 degrees of Aries. Why do I love this moon so much, and what brings it the fortunate and lucky energy that I'm about to describe? Well, it is backed up by or co-joined with the fixed star Alpheratz. This is a star that's connected to the constellation Andromeda and Pegasus. It's between both, and it's considered a lucky, powerful, fortunate star that brings success. And I'll be diving into more about that star shortly. When you add that idea that we have this powerful, beautiful, positive light shining with that moon, that full light, full moon in Aries on October 6th. The second thing I love about it is it flows to the Vestal flame of sacred duty and devotion beautifully in the sign of Sagittarius, joined with the asteroid Hermes, the messenger of the gods. And it's reflecting, of course, as a moon, a beautiful light of our sun that's traveling through Libra. And at the very same time, the sun is co-joined Logos, an asteroid to do with the word. Something about this feels enchanted, mystical, magical, spiritual. It feels a little rainbows and unicorns. It feels like divine intervention to me. But in your own life, it's going to play out in one of 12 pie slices in your chart, one of 12 whole sign pieces of real estate. Like, it'll be an important story. Like if you're a Libra rising, the moon is in your marriage house, right? Or Libra sun and moon, you can look to your 7th house of others. We'll be breaking down your sign and how to interpret this. I also would mention one more thing about this full moon. It is also going to engage energetically, okay, like the power of what must be transformed in our lives, what must be regenerated, what must be, renewed in some way, because we're coming off of that Virgo eclipse. The sun is now moving forward, but it has been involved in an eclipsed state. And so this is going to connect us a bit to what we let go, what we had to surrender, let go, and release in our lives, and what's still unfolding over 6 months from the Virgo eclipse on September 21st. One more story to say. A lot of you love my world astrology, and my name is Lori Lothian. Welcome to my channel if you're new. But this is not that today. I am now putting all of my world astrology, political astrology, word astrology, geopolitical event astrology at Substack, at my Pluto Chronicles email and newsletter. And if you want to go over there and you can sign up for free, you'll get my world astrology predictions delivered to your mailbox. And you can also just read it on my Substack column. It is free. So I'm imploring you to do that. I cannot deal anymore with algorithmic shadow banning, algorithmic suppression, and also the vitriol and vile and angry and mean and argumentative comments over the astrology that I keep presenting, and the ad hominem attacks as well. So we're moving it over to Substack because it's civilized over there. I'm recording on September 23rd for my Patreon community who gets this early access ad free. And I'm trending at number 15 in the culture segment of Substack, only like 3 spots down from Katie Couric. Okay. So this is the kind of thing where I'm enjoying myself over there because I can speak freely and not have to bite my tongue. All right. So I'm unplugged over there. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So let's talk about the star Alpheratz before I show you the sky. I am born with Alpheratz on my sun, my 14-degree Aries sun in the sign of communication, journalism, media, and writing. So I'm the walking Alpheratz girl for you, right? I'm the walking Andromedan Pegasus combo. And let's go ahead and talk about what this book says. It's this wonderful book by Elizabeth Hazel. I highly recommend The Little Book of Fixed Stars. It might be in my list of recommendations on my channel underneath my thing. Oh, I forgot to promote Sky Reader. If you want to come join me at September 27th, I'm doing Be Your Own Astrologer, Time Your Best Life, 6 weeks live with me, Q&As, guest teachers, all the information about the course is down below. Some of you may see this before Saturday's class begins. If not, my dear friend and colleague, Renn Butler, is teaching his 6-month archetypal astrology starting October 4th. And you might want to grab a spot in that course. Say that Lori sent you. You're going to get a discount that you won't get publicly if he knows you came from me. Telling you guys, I took that class in 2020, never looked back, changed my whole perspective of reality. Okay, so about stars, dreams at night, my perinatal matrix, and all the codes of my birth chart as well. Okay, so let's read about this from this particular vantage point. We're going to take a little gander at some of the power of Alpheratz shining through that moon, that big, beautiful full moon on October the 6th. So the star, as written by Elizabeth Hazel, says it is actually the horse's navel, the horse's belly button, the lucky star shared by Pegasus and Andromeda, the two constellations. It sort of sits between them. It marks her hair, and you guys always say something nice about my hair because the star is on my sun. And honor, and it means the following words. It can bring into our lives through the light of this full moon. All right, it can bring in the following themes: honor, independence, wealth, a good mind. All righty. It also says to weigh alternatives, appraise and evaluate opportunities before we make our choice. Now, Oscar Hoffman and his another amazing book, Fixed Stars in the Chart. Oscar Hoffman says about Andromeda, Alpheratz, he says it comes to mean independence, freedom, love, riches, honor, and a keen intellect. So who doesn't want a light of that kind shining through this moon? Now, I'm putting this video out way before the actual moon. Not always best for the SEO. So if you wouldn't mind liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing, this would be a fabulous thing for you to do to help my channel. I'd so appreciate that. Now, if it's with your sun when you were born, if you had like a sun at 14 Aries, like I do, then co-join the sun. It can bring you honor, preferment, and favors from others. I have gotten favors from others. Another write-up I read says popular appeal with the masses from Constellation of Words. And that has happened to me in my life in various careers. So I'm not going to read what it means with every well, if any of you are listening with your sun, moon, Mercury, Venus at 14, you don't have to get Oscar's book, but he does break it down, with each sign. And I don't think I'm going to read it all because a lot of you are going to be born with any planet at 14 degrees. Go get his book instead, or Google it and see if you can find it anywhere else online. Maybe check out Jamie Partridge, the Astrology King. He often has really nice in-depth write-ups about different planetary pairings with various stars. All right, so now that we've got the beautiful star of honor, love, intellect, preferential treatment, favors from others, wealth, independence, honor, let's move into the next story. I'm going to show you the chart, and you're going to be able to see the sky. This is what it looks like on the day the moon is full. The moon will be full at 14 degrees of Aries. You may notice that Neptune is retrograde behind this moon and Chiron's in front of it. Generally speaking, I could say it's infused with a spiritual, oceanic, mystical nature, a high potency for imagination, unconditional love, and forgiveness and compassion. Well, Chiron is sitting here reminding us we're all collectively healing the wounds of war. Indeed, Asteroid Child is tracking with Chiron in the sign of war, and we all know where children are suffering in a war zone today, don't we? So this is a moon that could bring some shifts towards the situations in the world, attending wars and the suffering of children, and holy wars that are misguided. For Neptune and Aries tends to bring out holy wars or spiritual warfare. And the moon is also flowing beautifully to the vestal flame of what we must devote ourselves to. Where is your sacred duty? Where is the place where you want to light a candle of truth in your life? Where is it like the votive candles in the Christian or Catholic churches where you're lighting that sacred candle, a flame of something that's more than just duty and drudgery and responsibility in your life, but rather it feels like a sacred calling. The flame is going to activate that vis-a-vis your Sagittarius part of your sky. And this is Hermes, the messenger of the gods, and he's very connected as well to the occult mysteries and the alchemical wisdom. Hermes was connected to the idea of thrice great Thoth, the thrice great magician guy, so you've got this energy of ancient occult wisdom and knowledge, and Hermes intertwined quite often with each other. So I love that energy too. I note that Mars is the ruler of the moon, but he cannot properly witness it. It's called an inconjunct, 150 degrees away, or an aversion. And in that regard, I'd say he's pretty hands-off. He's busy dealing with some volcanic explosion that the world may be having to face or figure out. in terms of things that are to do with war. And because Putin has his Scorpio rising, it's very much likely connected to that situation as well. So it's another story off on the side. The Lord of the lunation is in an aversion, cannot properly give testimony or witness to the moon. It's sort of like in his peripheral vision. If I had to make a case, it will be for Mars 6 houses away from him. So that would be a house that's often considered to be a difficult house, but he's not watching it really. And so we're just going to let him go and we're going to forget it. He's over here dealing with some volcanic news that's coming through our collective cycle around this time. Mercury is delivering secrets that are being revealed at this time, especially given that Mercury is squaring Pluto. So while you're having a beautiful moon that's full, there's also on a side dish of scandal or powerful volcanic explosive information hitting our news cycle. It could involve China. I will mention this for you. And the moon is full, but it's not finished. We don't go into a full moon and go, oh, that's a done deal. Wow. Now that I know that it's full and nothing happens to me on October 6th, I can discount the astrology. Absolutely not. Every lunation has a 6 months fulfillment cycle. It is full, and then it is new, and then it is full, and it is new. And of course, it has phases in between. But those are like the punctuation buttons, the on-off switches. And so this full moon will unfold for 6 months until the very next new moon in Aries. And in that regard, as we go through the all signs portion, I'm going to tell you about 6 months ago, you had a new moon. I'll give you the exact date because now you're also in a fulfillment or a completion phase around what you started or began back then. Now, I don't know if I shared with you on this video recording because I had to reboot it because I had a tech glitch, that the Time Traveler's Oracle by Denise Lynn is fast becoming one of my favorite handy everyday oracles. That shelf is filled with tarot cards and oracles. I've been reading tarot card and astrology books. I've been reading astrology books and tarot cards since I was in my 20s. And I'm 63. And this is, no, I have not had facial surgery. Just good genes. This is going to be how we accompany the astrological content for your sign with an oracular boot of extra, like up level it to an extra level of story. Does that make sense? Let's get going. We're going to start with Aries and we're going to roll through each sign. This is being recorded, as I said, early access ad free for my Patreon community on September 23rd, coming out on the 25th. If you like this kind of content and you want to share it with your friends, I'd so appreciate it. This channel has undergone a lot of shifts over the years. I've been doing this since 2019. I'm so grateful I'm still here, but I've been having some algorithmic challenges around certain factors in the channel, especially the world of astrology. And so I've been getting some downdraft from the algorithm. So please give me a boost. I'd love to have some support from you guys. And by sharing with other people that you know, it can also help me grow. And I almost forgot to mention that the new moon back in April, what was the date of that new moon? Let me find it. It was an eclipse. Like that's a major thing to talk about. March 29th, my dad's birthday. Oh, shouldn't tell it on public status. There literally is a connection to an eclipse. So that means that the new beginning and the new seed that we planted is also connected to an area of our life that has a massive energetic shift and transformation. So I'll bring that into your sky as well. So it's the fulfillment of the potential that the eclipse was activating for us on the date of March the 29th. And the eclipse was at 9 degrees of Aries, right on my moon, which is why I'm living in this new place, right? Eclipse to your moon, you're going to change where you live. That was a solar eclipse. Okay, let's roll into the story. Let's get your sign up. I'm so excited by this one, guys. Feels like a beautiful, almost like a divine intervention to me. I've been moving away from a lot of old thought I had about the world towards kind of a Gnostic approach, or kind of looking at the archons or the feeding frenzy of sort of negative, dark, demonic influences in humanity. Understanding the war we're at is not with each other. Okay. It's not with the political stripes, your religious beliefs. The war we're having is with spiritual interference in the evolution of humanity. Just keep that in mind. That's my understanding at this time. It's coming from within, from dreams, and from understanding some stuff at a deeper level that I've suspected, but now I understand. Now, as we look at Aries here, this is you, Aries, Sun, Moon, and I'll be doing an outro. Stay tuned for the outro. My outro today is going to be talking about a cool synchronicity and showing you how magical synchronicity can be in your life. So here we have the moon, and it's going to be at 14 degrees of Aries. I forgot to check the Sabian symbols on that. Is my book anywhere nearby, or is it tucked away in my shelf? Sabian symbols. Okay, let me grab the Sabian symbol. Give me a sec. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes I find it illuminating. I'm just going to pull it up on my back end of my computer. Sabian symbols are handy, and they sometimes are useful. So let me grab it. So we always round up the Sabian symbol, round it up to 15 Aries, right? I should know this because it's the Sabian symbol for my son, but I always forget it. This one of 360 degrees, 360 channeled, like Zen koan type things by Elsie Wheeler back, I think, in the 30s. An Indian weaving a blanket. Yes, I knew that. Self-mastery by eliminating personal faults is one of the meanings. There's many, you have to interpret your own way. An Indian weaving a blanket, not a basket. So you have to think about, is it about creating a masterpiece? Is it about doing something creative that's also useful? So an Indian weaving a blanket is our Sabian symbol for that degree. And this is going to be a moon at 14 degrees, not 12. It's just that the moon moves quickly. So Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. What are you going to weave in your life, right? This is going to be a full light, and it's going to shine brightly in the first house of your identity. This is for you sun signs, matters to do with your purpose and career and soul essence. Whereas your moon, it can be about your home and your nest. The moon is equally available as a mother figure, and the father figure is the sun. There's going to be energy shifts around these matters. But if it's your rising sign, it's your simulation avatar in the game of life. And it's not the real you, but it's the character that you inhabit. And because of that, all three are useful delineations, and you've got a big spotlight on you. It's a full moon. It's shining brightly. What does it mean? Well, it's shining the light of the sun, and it's also shining the light of the asteroid Logos, which, for goodness gracious, I should have put a picture of it in there for you. Logos. Sorry, Aries, for all of us. So Logos is right there with the sun. The asteroid Logos is delineated to mean the following themes. Logos emanates from the deity and the Gnostic creation myth. In Greek, logos means word, reason, or in the beginning there was the word. The desire to search for meaning, looking for the root cause, and discussion to arrive at the truth. So I'm going to go with something like, it's the energy of the creation God. It's the energy of how our word creates our reality. And our words are also embedded in our thoughts. We think in words, okay? So think about how you are creating from the logos of your identity and being, and that is being reflected by the moon in your sign. And like I said in the beginning, if your moon or sun or rising degree is within 2 degrees of either side of 14.5 Aries, you are likely under the influence, as I am, of the star Alpheratz in your natal story and in your life story. One thing I want to mention about this guy is that because you've been dealing with a chironic identity wound in your chiron, could be influencing your sun, your career, your moon, your home, your nest, your emotions, or maybe your identity as a character in the simulation. This has been on and off feeling like a spot that's a sore spot for you ever since 2019 when Chiron entered here. If anything is going to change this, it is the eclipse. Not only that happened, yes, an eclipse March 29th last year at 9 degrees of Aries, but also the co-presence during that eclipse and during the full moon. So the new moon eclipse back in March 29th, the full moon here, to help you also toss this to the curb, right? Put Chiron out of his misery. You no longer have to walk around feeling this existential wound of some kind. And some of you may also encounter real life health problems with this kind of placement. Now, because you also see that you have a Vestal flame of devotion, which is flowing with only 4 degrees separation. This is almost a 11-degree Vestal flame to the moon. The question is about God. I know it sounds crazy, guys. Okay, Goddess, creator, source, take your pick. Jesus, take the wheel. You know, this is the temple of gods and God. This is a place where we seek spiritual sustenance, spiritual systems of understanding, spiritual dedication and practices. It doesn't need to be religion, but it does point the way. It's a metacosmos house to a path to spiritual understanding and knowledge and wisdom. And because there's a sacred flame along with Mercury, who's like the writer, communicator, the ancient scroll text messenger, the guy with the cuneiform tablets he's baking up. This is an important time for you to look at your spiritual beliefs and wonder, is there something you need to devote yourself to here spiritually? Will it be a supportive growth energy if you do find a spiritual dedicated path in your life? Meditation's fine, doesn't have to be going to church. I might go to church. I love Catholic Church. I love incense. I love the mystical quality. I don't care if I don't believe exactly in what they believe. I like the vibe. The other thing I want to mention here is that this is a house of book publishing. So if any Aries think they have a book in them, great. This is a house of the idea of the word international, and it covers the word pilgrimages. And so if some of you feel like you need to go on a dedicated journey to seek for your soul and to find a pilgrimage of some sort, that's exactly the kind of story that can come off of this particular full moon and take up to 6 months for that to be realized in your life. Don't expect it to occur overnight. That would be unrealistic. Now, lastly, sometimes we find judges and legal decrees up there, but it's a sacred devotion with the messenger. So I don't think that's likely. I think this is more temple energy. Where is the true temple for your spiritual path in life? Is it your yoga mat, right? Is it your candlelit morning hour where you meditate? It is calling you to a spiritual investigation in life. I'm going to draw a card for you, and me too. And let's see what we get. I probably should have read Alpheratz for the moon, because you guys are probably thinking, I have that star. Go Google it. Okay, go Google Alpheratz. 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 Okay. This is a beautiful deck. Goodness gracious. Denise Lynn never ceases to amaze me. I've had many of her oracle decks over the years, and I'm always struck by how wise she is in all of them. I've never had an oracle deck from her that I have not loved. All right. This is courage. Courage. And it has to do with the Vikings in the New World, because it's a time traveler deck. And it's the number 8. You know what I love about the number 8? It has to do with power, passion, lust is a strength card in the tarot, but and wealth. And the star is on wealth. Don't forget, you can wealth up on this. You can get honors. You can get some popular appeal on this and something you're creating. But also the 9th house is a Dharma house. It's about purpose and meaning in life. And honestly, it takes a hell of a lot of courage in our daily digital mess of a world. Look at the color, even matches my outfit today, and with a bracelet. It takes a lot of courage to follow your true calling in life, that true path that you were born for, which is a 9th house theme, and maybe being unpopular for a time or taking a risk. So let's read the courage card from the actual guidebook and see what we get on this for you. And Aries, come on, we're big, bold, risk-taking energy. We often think of courage, which means heart, as leonine, but courage is an element of fire. So let's go ahead and see what Denise has to say to us. There are times to hold back and deliberate about life, and times to move forward with passion, power, and daringness. If there is something, Aries, you wanted to do or say or act upon, this card signals that it is time to go forward. Don't back down, face your fears, act on your impulse now, and success will follow. It's really take a leap, but be brave. Being courageous doesn't mean you are not afraid. Being fearless means just that, to fear less. I love that, fear less. There are no certainties about outcomes, but be willing to take a risk, step forward anyway. You may be on the verge of a massive breakthrough in your life. Be resolute in honoring your truth and speak up for yourself. Live with passion. As a warrior of the light, Aries, you must step beyond self-imposed limitations and be a way shower for others. Through you, others will be inspired to find and act upon their truth. Trust that you are unstoppable. I hope you can't hear that, gardener sawing or the air blower behind me, but I have the windows open for air. Okay, let's go ahead and do the next sign. I may close the door just for my own mental sanity. Give me a minute. Got rid of that sound. I just went over to my door and closed the noise. Let's do Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Beautiful lunation on Alpheratz, a star of great success and luck, honors, wealth, good shit happening. Go back and listen to the intro. Sitting here in your 12th house of addiction, self-undoing, and self-sabotage and hidden enemies. Now, I want you to go back to March 29th last spring, right? When we had an eclipse, a new moon eclipse here, happened to be at 9 degrees of Aries, and you're trying to eclipse, right? End, complete some of those things I just mentioned. Where are you your own saboteur? Where are you your own worst enemy? It is everything from substance abuse problems, addictions, etc., to just self-defeating thoughts, bad habits, and past life karmic vows and stuff that you've got stuck in, like you're in the mud. You know how you get your car wheels stuck in deep snow or in the mud? That's what's gone on here for you guys. You can't get out of a groove around that self-defeat or that pattern, habit, behavior, substance addiction issue. And I'm going to encourage you to consider going to a hypnotherapist with Neptune here, or a shaman, but like a hypnotherapist. I have a really lovely guy, Shane Robinson, that I send people to for quantum healing hypnosis. If you want to email me, my contact information is in the top of the channel, and I'll get his information to you. He's word of mouth and he's brilliant. But using inner work, fantasy, imagination, vision boarding, hypnosis, trance states to unbind yourself is a good idea on this full moon and in the aftermath of it. The full moon has a whole 6 months to show you are strong and powerful, and you can undo your undoing. You can get rid of it on this kind of moon because it's fulfilling what the eclipse is trying to sort of scrub out of your life. And now another part of the 12th house can be like going on to a journey to an ashram or a meditation center, a place of isolation, and going off and being alone and finding the power of healing and solitude, and being in alone time being a very powerful new sort of beginning for you. Sometimes it could even invite you in your kind of a chart to relocate where you live in a positive way to some distant land or foreign place. But if you're not doing that, you could also just be seeking that inner zone of spiritual contemplation alone. And the alone is because it's solitude in the 12th house, but also it's a full moksha house for waking up spiritually as well. And for some of you, that may be a useful guidebook. It's reflecting not only a Libra and Sun in your 6th house. This moon is fulfilling a reflection of the asteroid Logos. Where are your thoughts or the words you speak capable of delivering like a new creation in your life? How can you create something brand new by changing how you think and how you express your stories? I've got my Taurus daughter working on some manifestation, and I've given her a manifestation mantra to teach her a few tricks I've learned over time. And I encourage you guys to do that as well. This could work really well for the magical manifestation stuff because houses 12 and 6 are metacosmos, or between the worlds, and where you're in touch with forces that are not just, knock on wood, not just tangible, but also etheric or powerfully spiritual. And finally, what about this Vestal flame of devotion in another spiritual enlightenment house? So possibly let's dedicate yourself to some psychological and psycho-spiritual investigation. Putting a sacred duty or calling into 8th house occult matters could mean that some of you realize you're called with Mercury to be like a tarot card reader, Hermes, an astrologer, a diviner, a pendulum swinger, doing something of the occult or hidden arts and mysteries. Psychic abilities are here, all of them, all the clairs, audience, sentient. This is where we talk to dead people. Some of you might be finding yourself as a Taurus called in that direction. Mercury as a sacred duty, a sacred devotion to investigate the mysteries or to parlay some of your life into using them, whether professionally or just personally, it doesn't matter. It's an awakening of those energies within you. Sometimes you might want to be more devoted to your money that you are sharing with an inheritance, a spouse, investment monies, and really be more devotional in your attention to those monies. And Hermes could be the abacus, the accountant, and the calculator, helping you really sort through those as well in the 6 months that follows this moon. Let us go ahead and draw a card and see what we get for you. And let's take a peek at that together. So let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, this is by Elizabeth Hazel, but I feel bad that I didn't say Michael Munkasi. Michael Munkasi also is a part of the co-creation of this book. Okay, I felt bad that I missed his name there. Sorry, Michael. You get it. You put your, oh my God, vitality. Now that makes sense because, of course, we're at a fire moon, a full moon, and it's about the fire. And this is card number 44. Often we lose vitality when we end up in karmic mud from past lives. Maybe your 12th house could have got you sucked into ancestral and karmic past life stories, maybe even self-defeating habits that drain your vitality. I mean, no one likes to be drained by negative thought forms or ruminations that are taking you downhill, or even, again, addictions. So let's take a look at what vitality has to offer you as a Taurus full. This is truly a time of expansion. Do not hold back. Your ability to sense and respond to the energy fields around you is now expanding. Yeah, because that's the 8th house Vestal flame activation. The sun symbolizes energy, positivity, clarity, and confidence. Now, the moon is reflecting the sun's light, but the sun is in the house of service and job and work. Some of you might be considering making a change there as well. Sunshine can bring about self-assurance and joy. Vitality, health, abundance, passion, and love are all expanding in your life. If you've been thinking about stepping into the role of a healer, this is the time. This is also a sign to look to your own desires. Do not be a wilting flower about letting others know what you need. Allow your emotions the freedom to be expressed. It's important to know that you don't need to run on your own resources. So the 8th house is other people's resources, where the Vestal flame is flowing to this moon, whether they're usually monetary or financial or assistance, like government checks, when you don't have a job, other people's resources supporting you. So it's important to know that you don't need to run on your own resources. Simply allow yourself to be a channel for the life force energy of the universe to flow through you and replenish your soul and the souls of those around you. And if you use the word soul, you're going to talk the moksha houses 8 and 12, where this is happening. So I'm going to say that card was appropriate. Let's move on to the next sign. Please like and subscribe if you're watching this and help this channel grow. Much appreciated. Now, in the sky for us Geminis, I say us, I'm an Aries sun and moon, Aquarius rising, but I also have my progressed sun in Gemini. A progressed planet never overrides the natal story, but it can also be another layer of meaning. Now, Gemini, one of the things we need to look at here is that we have a really beautiful full moon fulfilling the promise of March 29th solar eclipse up in this 11th house of good spirit. This is a house that's extremely positive. It tends to bring us karmic rewards and career gains and prosperity from the career path itself. And it's also a house that shows us what our deepest dreams and long-range goals and visions are for our life, our planning, the big view of what we want and what we wish for. And we also find favors from friends, allies, and benefactors who wish to help us, as well as this 11th house is the domain of the sibling one older, and often includes lots of friends, social networks, and groups that you belong to, whether it's your book club or your social friendship circles. These are some sorts of friends that may show up here. A full moon is completion and fulfillment of a seed that you had planted in your 11th house last March 29th behind us. And because it involved an eclipse, something got to give. A destined change is angling to happen in your 11th house. And it most likely, by the way, bleeds into your career because that's where the North Node was at the time of that eclipse. And so now we want to fulfill that. We want to make a major story about it. And using me as an example, I decided to more or less wean off of seeing most clients. My Patreon community does get some spots opening up every few months and they get to see me. But even then, I got 600 Patreon community subscribers, and I'll open up 25 spots. So, that's a decision I made. And now another new decision is to wean off political astrology on YouTube. So you're seeing Lori choosing to make choices from the eclipse and now the full moon connected to the 10th house where the node of fate was as the eclipse occurred March 29th. If you want to consider as well the eclipsing of friends from your life since last April, you might have lost a social network or a group, but then the fulfillment here will fulfill it by bringing new friends, associates, and people who can help you into your life. And believe it or not, I think I lost a friendship with somebody in the last 6 months, connected to someone I used to look up to as a mentor and who was very supportive of my career. And we had a falling out that I didn't anticipate. So I'm just using me as an example. Have you lost some friends? Have you had falling outs? Now the cup will fill with a full moon. The moon is actually drawing a lot of light, right? From logos, the word. I want you to think about how we think in words, and the logos is, and then, the word created reality, right? It's part of the biblical phraseology, and it's part of the creation God myth. So using your thoughts and maybe your words positively in order to create what you're trying to manifest. And when it comes to your career success, the gains, whether it's fame or influence or financial gain, these are things that you can get. And with Alpheratz, a star that brings popular appeal with the public, honors and recognition, and wealth, this is for some of you, Geminis, a chance to really level up in terms of how you are received by a larger group than just, say, your wife, husband, and kids. This is like, oh, some big success can come from this moon for you. It also flows to the sacred devotional flame in your 7th house, often misunderstood, by the way, as only about marriage, which it can be. And if you're going to devote yourself to a marriage partner off of this moon will allow for that sacred union or devotion to pick up steam. But it's also the house of your marketplace, audience, customers, clients, or the output, the receivership of your 10th house of career. As you're busy doing career stuff, 10 houses away in this order is the 7th, 10th from the 10th. It's the sort of the fulfillment, of what you're up to, where it's received by somebody. These are your people, right? Who are you serving in your work? Who's receiving what you do? Is it a client, audience, marketplace, general public, fans? And so there's a sense of being more devoted to those people that you serve, having an aspect of not duty, but sacred calling towards that. Mercury is the messenger of the gods. And this is Hermes, his other side. There's a Roman and the Greek version, and this is a Greek version. So you might be finding yourself needing to dispense some news, information that's to do with a sacred calling or a sacred duty into the world in which your career expresses to others, right? However that looks for you. I don't care if you're like a human resource person, you're communicating with people who need to change their job in the company. You all have somebody that your career points to, that you're interfacing with. You're a plumber, you're interfacing with people like me with broken carburetors. I had my plumber here this morning. Now, with the energy flowing from the 7th house, that also represents legal contracts, vows, and agreements. It is possible, it is feasible that you may have a beautiful opportunity to sign a document in the next 6 months, a kind of legal contractual agreement. This wouldn't just be verbal, that lights you up. Hermes is like writing, communicating, marketing, selling, messaging, a vestal sacred devotion. You're really into it. And with the sun being reflected with logos, you watch those words, watch those thoughts in the house of performing, art, the muse, entrepreneurial stories. There's a lot of potency here. This is a house of your natural talents and gifts. What are your natural talents and gifts as the 5th house that you want to light up and influence a larger impact in the world? You might even light up a new calling to serve some others through your career, right? In a way that allows for some Neptune action as well. Spiritual, mystical, unconditionally loving, mysticism energy, infusing this energy in your 11th house. Okay, and you might know the Chironic wound's been plaguing you since 2019, and that eclipse last in March, and now are trying to heal it. That could be like a woundedness with friends, right? 2019, one of my dearest friends, my best friend, died. And then after that, a month later, another friend died. And a year later, another friend died. They're all my age, guys. I'm only like in my late 50s then. And so, yeah, during that Chironic wound in the house of friends, boy, did I feel it. Like I was like, what the hell? It was a very hard time for me. Okay. During the pandemic, after the pandemic, as we're coming out of it. Okay. So I'm using me as an example, but some of us lost friends, literally. I mean, we didn't just have a falling out, which I did with that mentor woman. It was shocking what happened between us, but I'm not going to belabor you. Matches my earrings. I got light, number 24, and the keyword is the angelic realm. Oh, the angelic realm. Well, that's nice. The 11th house of good spirit is where I always say we have our fairy godfather and fairy godmother, but it also is energetically the place of the karmic rewards. And so let's lean into the angelic realm, shall we, fellow Gemini folk, sun, moon, and rising. So let's take a look at number 24. I love this deck. I swear, I'm going to write her a letter and tell her. Messages from the angelic realm. Now, there's a longer section in the beginning. I don't read it. I'm going straight to the delineation. This is your time to remember who you are at your source and where you have come from, Gemini. Pure light. Your essence is radiant and clear. Of course, there are times, Gemini, when you forget this. We all do. You are a human with a physical body, but at your source, you are luminescent, infinite, and immortal. Your energy can heal the world. This is a reminder that angels surround you always. If you're not feeling their loving luminescence, then clarity is called for. Clutter clear anything that you do not love or do not use. Remove as much as you can of your physical, emotional, and mental load, especially negative thought forms, right? With logos in the 5th house of natural talents and gifts, and let the muse speak to you. Let the inner child speak to you. That's the 5th house. Get rid of objects that clog your energy, release relationships that do not support you, move away from situations that deplete you, make space for light to shine in every area of your life. If your life ever starts feeling dim, close your eyes and visualize wings of light embracing you. Your energy will begin to be restored. You are loved more than you can imagine. Oh, can I just say thank you? Thank you, universe, for the Geminis getting that card. And I can partake partially with my Gemini progressed sun. Beautiful energy. Let us move forward into our next sign. Don't forget, if you like this All Signs with Oracle, share with friends. Please comment. I do read my comments. And I particularly love when you guys reflect back to me my outro and I get to hear what you think of it. Moving into Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Well, Cancer, aren't you lucky? Jupiter's in your sign till next July, and everything else I say is secondary. You're not just lucky, maybe getting a little chubbier, maybe feeling generous, magnanimous, hopeful, and optimistic, leaderful, but you are also fortunate. So hold on to the fortune that's shining through you at this time. There's no time like the now to trust the divine and the wisdom and knowledge that you hold within yourself. That is Jupiter. Every 12 years, you get his help. Now, this isn't a story that you can see that back in March on the 29th, you had an eclipse. It happened to be at 9 degrees of Aries in your 10th house, and it's trying to eclipse you from a career path. Most often, sometimes from a marriage, because that's your social standing, divorced, married, widowed, all those good things, retired. So there's an eclipse. You could be retiring from some path of work, and you might retire something out. You might be untying the bonds of a marriage and announcing a separation or divorce. The eclipse last March may also have you decide to eclipse a particular career path. And you've been feeling this desire for purpose and meaning in your career since 2019 as Chiron entered your 10th house, particularly using your original medicine or your natural talents and gifts that the world would like you to express. And so you got what do you call it, like a high standard for doing the right career path at this time. It's not just making money that matters. It's being on a kind of a sacred calling about this is what I'm here to do. This is my original medicine, which is an indigenous term for sharing what your soul was here to give the world as a healing. And so with Neptune, a lot of the spiritual energies up here as well. And a lot of you might want to express more of your mystical, your imaginal, your spiritual. And Neptune rules storytelling, screenplays, glamour, Hollywood, modeling, photography. And those things may be tickling at you to go into expressing that more fully. The full moon is the taking from the eclipse, which wants to end one thing in your career and fulfill or bring to light a new one. The moon is shining for 6 months. It unfolds. Up here, this is October 6th. So don't expect to get all of the answers right away, but certainly you're going to fill up something in the 10th house of career, visible actions in the world where you want to be ambitiously successful. And there's a fulfillment of that. The moon is reflecting the light of logos and the sun in your 4th house of your ancestral line and childhood. And maybe some ancestral line stuff that can really help you move into a more aligned career as well. Maybe there are parts of your ancestral line, like if you want to become a healer, did anyone ever tell you Grandma Joe or Grandpa Joe and Grandma Jane were healers? You might be able to dig some ancestral stories up here with this kind of story. The logos could literally be like when you get your genealogist writing down all of your family line and you find out, hallelujah, I come from a line of writers, singers, dancers. I'm going to express this too. This is my new thing. One of the parts of the sky that I'm really excited about is the Vestal Flame of Devotion in your 6th house. It's asking you to find a life path of service and work that isn't drudgery, duty, and heavy burdened responsibility. This was called the house of slavery or indentured servitude. You don't want to be a servant. You want to be of service, and you want to find a dedicated, inspired, and dedicated sacred calling in the work you're doing. Mercury is the messenger of the gods. This is Hermes, his other side. You might find yourself really pondering new ideas for what that could be. He could be also giving you news or messages close to the moon that tells you what it is that this sacred calling will be. So pay attention to a day or two before and 3 days after October 6th for insights from the Vestal Flame and Hermes about this kind of shift. Now, you don't have to change your whole job and quit, but there's a shift coming here for you in the next 6 months. Something's changing in that career. And full moons can be fulfillments, like a completion zone, not just a big light to show you the way. So I'd like you to consider, what are you up to there? Are you completing? Maybe you are. In the next 6 months, you'll know the answer. So let's draw a card for you. Now, this is, I love this, Denise Lynn, Time Traveler's Oracle. I've shared in the beginning who wrote this book, Oracle deck. What complimentary Oracle reading do we have for you guys today that might help you work on your shift of your fulfillment of your career? And if you're listening for your Cancer rising, it's definitely your career. Your Cancer sun is definitely your career. Your Cancer moon, it could also be matters connected to your home, vis-a-vis and interconnected to your career. Reflection. Number 35, and there's a beautiful reflection, comes from Mount Shasta. It says Mount Shasta's moon, California. You can't make this up because you're a Cancer rising. And guess what? You're ruled by the moon. And the moon is angular in your 10th house, squaring your identity, squaring your opposite your home, squaring your marriage partner. It could bring changes in my marriage status, where I live, my identity, and my career. All of those are good words for you to pay attention to. But look, there's your moon. You cannot believe that one. Now, what are you reflecting on? The moon is reflecting the light of the sun and reflecting into a water body at the bottom of this picture. You can't see it. Trust me. There's a moon reflection in the water here as well. 35. All right, Cancer, the time is right. No, the glowing image of the moonlight in a sacred mountain lake is a reminder for you to take time to reflect about your life. Don't rush through life. Savor it. Sit back. Pull up your feet. Let go. Cancer, place your responsibilities and burdens by the side of the road and relinquish control of your life. Jesus, take the wheel. We came off that eclipse. Spiritual beings are at your side. When you relax and reflect about your journey, powerful insights and intuition arise. Answers to long-held life questions emerge. The truth will be made known. In the calmness that unfolds, you realize that all of the answers you seek are within you. This is a time of meditative silence, and all will be revealed. It's funny because the sun is in your midnight hour, the 4th house, and that makes sleeping hard. I bet you a lot of you have noticed since the sun on the 22nd of October went into September, that sleep is not your best friend, right? Because there's a spotlight of solar energy in the midnight hour. So in that regard, if you can't sleep, then take some time to go meditate, light a candle, dream journal, if you remember your dreams, because I'd say that there's a lot coming through the 4th house from quality time past the midnight hour that asks you to receive the information you need in order to make this shift in the career space or purpose space. You're retired. What are you visibly doing in the world that everybody sees you doing? You can't just lie in bed all day. If that's what you're doing, then you need a therapist. You're depressed, or a spiritual shamanic retreat, soul retrieval. So what is everybody looking at you doing in the world that you feel you want to look good in doing? It makes you happy to be visibly rewarded for doing that thing. All righty. What about Leo, sun, moon, and rising? Let's talk about your story. First thing you need to notice is that you have a full light in your ninth house. It takes cue from the solar eclipse here, blotting out the light of the sun last year. I know, May 29th of the spring behind us. So you're trying to eclipse something from your life that connects to the following themes. Father figures, okay, because that's the ninth house story. So maybe disconnect from a father, divorce a father figure, authority figures, father figures, a pastor, preacher, religious teacher, a religion, goodbye religion, I'm done with you. Eclipse a university, a higher educational setting, eclipse a foreigner from your life, eclipse. Time to let go of ninth house matters. And as you're doing all of that, now we have a fulfillment, a completion, and another chapter is turning as this full moon 6 months later is lighting up your ninth house. Now, you might have a chironic wound when it comes to, say, spirituality, religion, spiritual teachers, or father figures. And that could be something you're noticing ever since 2019, that this relationship with these types of people feels somehow wounded. And yet, at this time, you have a chance to do something new and something different. This is reflecting the light of the mind. This is the third house of how you think about things, your thoughts, and the way you communicate to others, but certainly I'd say your mental apparatus. And so logos is the word. And, in the beginning, it was the word. It's how reality was created here in this matrix. So how are you using the words of your thoughts? Because we think in words, guys. How are you, is that being reflected up here? Your thinkingness is needing to be attended to in a sort of meticulous way. Find balance, right? It's Libra. If you're always thinking negatively or always thinking positively, that's not realistic. Find the balance point in your thinkings, because your ideas and thinking can be a challenge. Technically, this is the house of publications, including book publishing. This is the house of writing. And therefore, there may be a fulfillment of a project through writing that you're ready to put out, find an agent. And that would be wonderful for you if that's true, because in the house of the muse, we have Hermes, who acts like a messenger, but an agent, or someone who wants to facilitate some communication to propel you to book publishing success, especially with Neptune. It could be anything. It could be screenplays, storytelling, whatever. And the Vestal flame of devotion. In order to be devoted to something, all right, that you care about, you need to use your natural talents and gifts. If you were born as a singer, a writer, a communicator, an artist, a scientific mind, a mathematician, whatever those talents are that you were born with, need to express with a sacred devotional duty in order for the fulfillment of something powerful in that ninth house. This can bring the word international success as well. So I'm going to lean into that for you as well. Find that devotion to your natural talents, your natural gifts at this time. You might want to devote yourself to one of your children or grandchildren. And that might be a path here that you might not have thought of, but that the sort of sacred duty to a child or a grandchild is embedded within the fifth house, ninth house story. And ultimately, houses 5 and 9 are Dharma energies. You want to come into alignment with a purpose, and you want to communicate that alignment to the world. And you might want to do it through social media, writing, communicating, teaching, marketing, or even selling. These are all third house things that the sun is doing as the moon is reflecting that. Don't forget, we had in the beginning, Alpheratz, the star of honors, wealth, success, and recognition, and popular appeal. And this moon is at the top of the sky. So you can definitely work that magic with the star that is behind the moon. Let's draw a card from Denise Lynn, Time Traveler's Oracle, and see what we get for you guys. Are you excited? I'm excited. I am in a good mood today. I woke up on the right side of the bed. Oh my God. This is the house of God. This is the house of God, where the temples of Apollo and all Asclepius was there, Asclepiums, and the house of divine knowledge and wisdom. And you've got miracles. It connects to the northern lights in Iceland. That's what the picture's depicting. 27 miracles. Okay, Leo, where do you want a miracle in your life, really? Because this energy flows to children and grandchildren. This flows to the word international, spiritual alignment, truth and wisdom, finding a spiritual light in your life, a path. Did you lose your religion? Are you ready for a new one? Number 27. I'd say, when you have a compass and you're trying to get aligned with true north, That's what it is in the ninth house. Where have you lost your way? What did that eclipse do to you at the end of March? Have you lost your true north? Okay, miracles are showing up for you. Be open to the miracles that are waiting for you, Leo. Release your doubt and watch them. Know that you do not have to do this all by yourself. No, because this is the house of God. Ask God for some favors in the sky. Why do we think we're doing it ourselves? I'm getting more and more into releasing and surrendering. And the more I release and surrender, the more my life is going in a better seeming direction. It's important that you don't limit the way miracles appear in your life by trying to control the flow or having expectations. Be open to allowing the Creator to resolve challenges for you in mysterious and amazing ways. When they arrive, allow immediate gratitude to fill your heart, even if the miracles do not come in the form that you expected. Leo, be open to celebrating each one, no matter how small. Success begets success. Noticing the small wonders will allow great gifts from spirit to expand in your life. Hold the thought in your heart, and your life is that your life is a miracle, and indeed it will be. The ninth house is also higher education. Some of you might be called to fulfill something by going into an academic or learning setting or a longer term study. Like if you were to study 6 months with Renn Butler, check out why in the intro. Then that would be like more of a ninth house learning. A weekend workshop or 6 weeks with me, that's third house learning. But some of you may be called to go into learning environments following your true north compass. All right, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. You have a lunation that follows an eclipse. The eclipse happened here in March. It was at 9 degrees of Aries on the 29th of March. And it's eclipsing something to do with money that you share with another, whether it's an inheritance, spousal support, government support checks, tax rebates, investment income, whatever. That kind of money is being eclipsed. Something wants to end so something new can show up. And if you have money from commission checks, even, it's a chunk of money for you, or bonus pay, all that. So you're trying to relieve yourself of some of that, like energetically, to eclipse it. And yet, with a north node at the time in your seventh house, that's the spouse house. So there's a kind of eclipsing of shared resources with a significant other. Now the eclipse doesn't have to end the way you handle the monies with that other. It can be how you refresh the button and do it differently. I have a Virgo looking at doing a prenup with her partner now, Virgo rising person I know, client, friend. And that would be exactly what the eclipse set in motion in March, for example. However, there's deeper stuff in the eighth house than just money. It happens to be our connection to our occult magical powers, our psychic abilities, our mystery powers, our supernatural and paranormal. And a new beginning, fresh start was opened up there. And now we have the fulfillment coming through with the full moon. But it is a money axis. The sun is in the second house of resources and earnings and possessions with logos. I'm going to give you a tip. I gave this to my daughter, who is also a Virgo rising. Start languaging your money story carefully. I never have any money. I'm always broke. These are not languaging stories that work. You're going to see that with logos, the key to success is how you think about, because our thoughts are words in our head, or speak about your money story. Because when you change that, you begin to realign with the endless possibilities that you have for spiritual alignment that leads to flow and ease in financial matters. Possibly that's true. With the vessel flame of devotion in the fourth house, I want you to consider childhood narratives around finances. There's just a simple code there that, things you thought your mom or dad were sharing with you, showing you, or modeling around finances have gotten in the way of your own success, maybe. And by lighting a Bic lighter called the Vestal Flame and Mercury, the understanding and the information you need, you might be able to completely revise that story. End of that story. Some of you may come into some inheritance money, a bequeathment of some sort in the 6 months that follows this moon. And the other element I want you to pay attention to is the place you live. Is it a sanctuary? Is your home a place of quiet, of dedicated ease, a place to roll out your mat, to light your candles? Do you have any place of quietude in your home where you can be still and go inward. And what way is your home your temple? And if it isn't, how can you change that? Whether it's a change of home or a change of the way you use that home, there's a calling here. And so where this moon can really light you up is by changing the dedication to the home, making it that sacred sanctuary, that sacred priestess temple space. You might be able to turn around some major financial stories. Sometimes it's as simple as doing a few candle lighting, magical and meditative practices at home. Vesta would be very virginal, time to clean your home, right? Time to tidy it, order it. Zen-like sacred simplicity in your home will really open up doors for financial wellness. Now, Vesta is a kitchen goddess. A lot of famous chefs have Vesta in their chart on their midheaven, and it can also call you to be home cooking, right? Vesta in the fourth house, right? Chef up around the hearth fire, make more home cooked food. Now, it sounds like a silly thing, but this sun is reflecting your dietary style. It's the sun in the house of what you put in your mouth. And there is something about maybe a devotion to home cooked meals or healthy made home things to ingest that also can really support your shift of perspective. Finally, sometimes like the esteem of other people or lack of esteem of other people shows up in our eighth house, and difficulties with the in-laws, and a full moon coming off the eclipse. Only you know what challenges you've had with the in-laws, but there's a turning point here where you're going to complete that challenge or fulfill it. Take your pick. Either which way can work. Now let's draw a card for you, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. Now you could even experience the death of an in-law since last March, right? That energy is there, or since last February, in the precursor to the eclipse at the end of March, death of an in-law. And maybe that continues, by the way, because, the full moon is fulfilling more of that energy. So it may not be your story. It might be your partner's story as well. All right, let's see what message we get. Patience. What I like about that card right away is there's like a kind of Tara statue of some sort under the Bodhi tree, northern India, maybe a Buddha. I want you to create a temple in your home, remember? Because that's what's called for by the sky. Let's check number 28. Come on, Virgo. Where's your what sacred space have you created? Is it your yoga mat in the living room? Is it your candles in the bedroom? Where are you doing that stuff? Virgo, this is a sign that patience is called for. Do not move forward. Do not make major decisions or sign contracts coming off of this full moon. And this full moon is with Alpheratz, right? The star for honors and recognition, but it's in the hidden eighth house. It's inner work that you're asked to attend to, truly. Don't even sign contracts, okay? Because inner knowing will emerge and the right direction will appear before you. As you wait, it's not uncommon for your imagination to be sparked. Savor and mull over information, but do not act on it just yet. You would not plant tomato seeds one night and then go shout at the earth the next morning because there are no tomatoes. Instead, you would trust that even though you can't see the results of your efforts, eventually tomatoes will appear. Whether you are waiting for an investment project, that's 8,000 investments, the investment project, a relationship, or a diet to pay off. I covered the food style, guys. So heck yes in the comments if Lori didn't nail this card draw. Forbearance is called for. Beneath the surface, your life is transforming. You just need to be patient. Others are acting bad. If others are acting badly, remember that bad behavior comes out of fear. Do not look at this as a time of despairing, but as one of preparing for your future to unfold. If you're willing to wait a bit, your dreams will come in almost miraculous ways. All right, you got it from the horse's mouth. All right, I'm going to pause. I'm going to grab a little bit of chocolate. Yeah, I got some chocolate. Sorry, I didn't say what I was doing there. Galerie au Chocolat. This is really delicious and fair trade and all that good stuff, but it's from Quebec, from Canada. So some of you Americans will not find this. I used to live in Montreal for 2.5 years during the pandemic, and I remember getting this chocolate before. It's delicious, dark chocolate. Let's move on. We just finished talking to the sign of Virgo, and now we're moving into the sign of Libra. I often have a chocolate break near Libra. Everyone laughs about that. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Please give this baby some love. Help me boost myself out of I'm in the algorithmic timeout corner after my Charlie Kirk video. Okay. I got like a lot of subs dumping and then complaining about me in the comments, and probably complaining to YouTube, which is why I'm not doing this again. I'm literally threatening my livelihood by doing astrology on this kind of stuff. Libra, sun, moon, and rising. Energetically speaking, you are the thick of it because the sun is in your sign. This is your yearly Libra transit. This can boost your sun, Libra sun, your career story. Libra moon, things with your feelings and emotions and home life. And Libra rising, anything about your life can be really totally lit up. However, I will give you this. It's known in the ancient tradition that the sun traveling through the first house in particular, so this is for Libra risings, can really be a bit of a burnout energy. It's almost like it's just too much light and you want to like tuck under the covers. So it can be like being under the beams of the sun like a planet. You're hot, you're bothered, it's Klieg lights. It's too bright in here. Turn the light out. So keep that in mind as a theme every year. Sun's here for 1 month. Are you actually loving it or not? Probably not. Really think about it. Okay, moving on. Everybody has this thing, the sun is great, but the sun is not always great. Depends how close you are. You get burned up here. All right. So like right now, the sun is at 14 degrees. Are you a 14-degree ascendant in Libra? I bet you're really feeling hot or burned up or intensive, maybe overly stimulated. All right. So here we have October's sky. It's going to be on the 6th. The moon is happening at 14 degrees. We just lost the moon's degree, but trust me, 14 degrees of Aries. It's coming off of an eclipse. It's on that beautiful star Alpheratz, and it could be all about your partner. If you're in a business partnership or a love partnership, then this person that you're with gets this moon too. They get to live this moon. So I want you to go back, and I want you to think about March 29th. We had a new moon eclipse here, and that was an eclipse in the house of long-term committed unions and love, and also business arrangements and partnerships, and how you focus your energy on your client's audience and marketplace or not. And so there was a change that's being asked to be made in the realm of the relationship. But if you're in a relationship with somebody, they might have noticed like the end of March last year, damn it, I got to make a major life change. Something's gotten eclipsed here. I've got to figure something out. Funny enough, the eclipse in March, on the 29th of March at 9 degrees of Aries, also involved the 6th house of health, activating the house of health and work. So maybe, or addiction. So maybe, your partner was like, I got to get rid of this health problem, this addiction, or this job that I don't want. They were thinking about that since the eclipse in March. Now here we have fulfillment. It can also be your story because this is your approach to others in your life. And there's a need to make some fulfillment here, some fullness in the way you approach those people. Excuse me. Uh-oh. Someone criticized me for sneezing once without putting my hand in my mouth. In my own house all by myself, guys. Anyway, people. If you look at this from your perspective, though, just for you guys, just as forget about your partner, are you looking at making some changes in the work you do from the eclipse that happened in end of March? And if so, like retiring from a career, or changing your job, or changing the position in your company, you probably already did that. Now you're fulfilling a promise to those people you reach in your audience, marketplace, clientele. So that's what the fullness is for. And you've got a little bit of like getting rid of the chironic wound. You've been wounded in long-term love. You've been wounded in your client relationships. You've been wounded by business partners. And now you can fulfill the healing of that wound as well. And you're reflecting, this moon is reflecting the light of logos, which is the word. You got to be very true to your word, inner and outer truth, like what the word within you says you want to create, like a creator God. The logos is here, but also the thoughts that you have. You have to really inspect them because they're the thoughts and the words that you have coming into your life through your mouth are reflecting in how you succeed or don't in long-term love, business partner, and client relationships. So really inspect your thoughts and your words that come from those thoughts and see what you see there, as this full moon is showing you that is important to do. With Alphecca on the moon and the moon in the 7th, you could have a real strike of popular and public appeal with the people, the masses, really like loving what you're up to, if that makes sense for you. The the flame of sacred devotion is in the house of the goddess. This is a house that has to do with oracles, diviners, and scryers, and crystal ball gazers. This is a place of writing, communicating, teaching, selling, and marketing. And are you devoted to your website, to your social media platform, to teaching people, to writing? Any of those places are true, then your devotion to being the messenger Hermes in the communication, writing, social media sphere will look like a success story. Now, if you're a marketer or a seller in your job, your career, that's part of your role, then you're going to be very successful over the next 6 months. Alpheratz is that star of fortune and luck, honors and recognition, and wealth. But you need to find the sacred flame. If you're doing the marketing, selling, teaching, writing, communicating out of duty or responsibility or drudgery, it's not going to work. You have to be lit up about it. Okay. You have to have a fire about it. You have to feel the spark of excitement about it. And if that's true and you find that spark, then there's no stopping you from how you're going to succeed. And if you don't feel the spark, look for it. There's got to be an ember, a flame, a sacred flame going on in the storyline. On a boring and mundane note that's not as exciting, you may change your home to a new rental property coming off of this, and you want to find one with a really great kitchen because it's the neighborhood with the kitchen goddess, with the contractual agreements of the 7th house, and connected to the North Node in the 6th, where the whole thing started, okay, way back when. And so I will encourage you to consider the possibility that this will lead you to a new home. It's probably a rental home. It's going to have a great kitchen. It's going to be in a new neighborhood, maybe a neighborhood that's close to a church or a synagogue or a place of devotion, or just that it feels good and very like a sanctuary in this new zone. So some Libras will see that in the 6 months that follows this storyline, you will be maybe rehoming yourself. Let's draw a card for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rise. I love this. This is so boho. I got this at a women's clothing exchange party, like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. And it's got these little dingly things that drive me nuts, but it is a fun top. I hope you guys, some appreciate my, if I could just dress in bohemian all day long, every day, I'd be there already. I am so not like the Ralph Lauren girl. You know, I'm like, my daughter shops at Brandy Melville, and most of Brandy Melville I love. And I think I should just shop at the teen store, Brandy Melville, and I'd be in my happy place. You're the second sign to get miracles. Okay. You're the second sign to get miracles. 27, the Northern Lights of Iceland. That's your oracle message, guys. Why do you want a miracle? Why do you need a miracle? I believe in miracles because the Vestal flame is in the house of the goddess, right? You know, the 9th house is God. You're going to synagogue, church. You're going to the temple of Asclepius to have a dream. You're going to see the oracle of Delphi, you know, Pythia. That's not the 3rd house. The 3rd house is like down the street, there's a person with a tarot card stand, a diviner, a scryer, a crystal ball gazer, a local fortune teller, or online one. So it's very everyday synchronicity and divination. But the house of the goddess, you're going to get miracles out of the goddess and the gods in the chart. And the goddess is active in your 3rd house, which is where the Vestal flame is sitting. All right, I'll read it again. Be open, Libra, to miracles that are waiting for you. And the 3rd house is travel. If you're on a journey, if you're traveling anywhere, and some of you might be, because, you know, the Vestal flame may be busy on a trip and you're going places, then look for the sacred places on your journeys. Look for the quiet church, the Buddhist temple, the space, the piece of nature that feels like a temple. Be open to the miracles that are waiting for you. Release your doubt and watch for them. Know that you don't have to do this all yourself. And this is over the next 6 months. It's important that you don't limit the way that miracles can appear in your life by trying to control the flow or having expectations. Be open to allowing the creatrix to resolve challenges for you in mysterious and amazing ways. When they arrive, allow immense gratitude to fill your heart, even if they don't come in the form that you expected. Libra, be open to celebrating each one, no matter how small. Success begets success. Noticing the small wonders will allow great gifts from spirit to expand in your life. Hold the thought in your heart that your life itself is a miracle. It's a miracle. And indeed it will be. Well, there you go. Sacred flame of devotion gives you the goddess of miracles. How about Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising? Well, first of all, back end story, right? Mars is in your sign. He'll be here just like you and Vladimir Putin through till November 3rd. This is something that you can use to be decisive, action-oriented, heroic, on your A game, driven, ambitious, and passionate. You could also be careful because you could injure yourself, especially with water that's hot, for example. So watch out for scalding yourself. But all said and done, this is a powerful time for you. So backstory is important. And you're running a current here with Volcano. So some explosive intensity coming for you around the time of this moon, especially even building up toward it. Mercury square Pluto. Could be some very explosive information around somebody in your family of origin, not even about you, but there's intensity for you around the moon. I'd be remiss if I don't mention it. The moon is not that story. The moon is another story. So you had an eclipse to the house of work and health matters and activating also the house of addictions. That eclipse happened for you back on March 29th and it was total partial solar eclipse. So you were literally looking at eclipsing a job, a health challenge, maybe a place of service and work, eclipsing something to do with self-undoing addictions that impact your health. Some of you may want to eclipse a home and you've been trying to get out of a home and move since last March. That's a possibility here as well. Now, one of the things I would say with this moon, this fulfilling energy, this completing energy, if you're trying to get healthy, especially with Chiron there, this is your time. This is where your word and your thoughts in the house of self-undoing and addictions are reflected by a moon on a star called Alpheratz, which brings great success. You can also have great success in the work environment, whatever the work is, right? 6th house is your job, your employee-employer situations, your colleagues, co-workers space, the daily routines you have around your work, your office. And Alpheratz brings popular appeal, success, recognition, wealth, all of that good stuff. So if that's what you're looking for, like the employee of the month or an up level of success in the work, then you're going to get it. The next thing I'd say here is that have you been yearning for a pet and this is going to bring fulfillment, then you'll maybe getting the pet you want. Now, a full moon flowing to the sacred devotional flame and the messenger, excuse me, guys, looks like a job opportunity. If you're looking for work or want to leave the current line of work, then the vessel flame is saying, what are you devoted to? For you must feel a sacred calling for the success to find you. If it's just a job, I just work in Starbucks and I hate it, Starbucks could be a calling because you like to connect with people, maybe support them with cheerful good news. I met a Starbucks barista once who was like a saint, right? So who knows what you're trying to do? But you have to feel the calling. On a practical note, what you put in your mouth and through your nose is the face, the 2nd house, right? Is connected to the kitchen goddess flowing to the house of sickness. It's a clean and clear message that your food style needs to change. You might need to cook more home foods or be dedicated and sacred about the food prep and what you choose to eat, like a priestess, right? Eating the healthy foods. So, and cooking them perhaps, kitchen goddess energy. But I'm going to say that if you do have to change a dietary habit, it can also be an addiction. And if that's the case, that's not the end of the world. I particularly point to drugs because Neptune represents drugs and he's in your 6th house talking to the food goddess in the mouth and nose. So if you take a chemical substance that you might be partially dependent on, I don't care if it's pharmaceutical or if it's recreational, you may be reassessing that drug in your life in the 6 months that follows this eclipse. And that includes everything from nicotine to pot weed to whatever, just rethinking that, as well as a prescription drug that you might think you no longer need. Otherwise, I see a potential new job opportunity and commensurate with it, potentially a change of home. Although I think more likely you would rent a property than purchase one under the sky. And this applies to the next 6 months ahead. Let's take a card for you guys from the good old Time Traveler's Oracle by Denise Lynn and see what we get for you. Wow. Transcending. Now I'm going to say one thing. You go, what? You told me about job, work, diet. Well, the light of the sun with logos is in the house of the highest spiritual awakening, nirvana, shunyata, non-dual awareness, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi's third stage of awakening, unity consciousness. So if you're looking for that, and this is Atlantis, by the way, the word transcendence would speak to the sun in the house of full enlightenment, reflected by the moon in the sixth house of karmic service. So 39, let's see what you got. No one else has gotten that one, guys. Messages from Atlantis. All right, Scorpio, when you pull this card, or Lori pulls it for you, it's time to rise above the mundane circumstances of your life through the focused power of your mind, logos, the word, the ideas, the mind in your 12th house of God's full, the full moksha liberation, the full enlightenment, the Buddhahood. You know, I have a splinter in my mind. This is making me think of Neo in the Matrix. Through focused power of your mind, it is possible to let go of ordinary concerns and enter into a more rarefied perspective. Transcending a negative or unhelpful situation is a kind of transformation of self. With focused discipline, all things are possible. Focused discipline. Positive changes are ahead. Old structures, beliefs, ideas are dropping away as you transcend into an altered reality of your life. Trust your psychic senses and trust your intuition. Scorpio, you always should trust your intuition. It is a no-brainer. If you're not trusting your intuition, you're missing the whole point, okay? Scorpio, you add to that, this intuition that you're here for. I don't even know where to begin, but if you're not paying attention to your intuition, you're completely missing the whole point of being the watery Scorpio being that you are. So please do tune in to the nonlinear intuitive mind that you have. If you've ever been drawn to crystals or sound vibration healing, now is a good time to pursue those directions and disciplines. As you hold a crystal, focus on a tone, and with clear intent in your mind, challenges release and clarity blossoms. This can help you manifest your dreams and desires. It's so powerful. It can feel like magic. All right, I'm going to leave you with that. You let me know how that lands for you. Moving into the next sign, and the next sign is Sagittarius. So you're a fire sign. So this is a moon that trines you, which means it brings luck, opportunity, and Jupiterian blessings. Same for the Aries and Leos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. One thing I'd say about you, I'm going to start with the Vestal Flame. The Vestal Flame is moving through your sign. She just got here. I think she'll be here for about a month. I don't know. But does it matter? I guess I can spin the wheel. She's going to retrograde, I think, back out. Let's take a look, because this is important. Every 7 years or so, she will come through your sign, right? Now she's gone past it. Does she come back, or is she complete? Sorry, this is going to make you dizzy, right? I'm getting dizzy watching myself. Where'd she go? Sag. Oh, yeah, she's well down the pipeline. She's left you behind. Okay, so it looks like you have to deal with this Vestal Flame Sagittarius in your sign for quite a while. So let's see. She's kind of finishing up as we get to here. November 18th. Okay. So let's go back to basics for you. The Vestal Flame's been here for a little bit of time now. I'm not sure when, a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I'm recording on September the 23rd. Okay. So by the middle of November, you're done with this Vestal Flame, but let me give you some guidance. Okay. This is going to have you being very much like a virgin, okay? Like a virgin. You're not going to be sexing up. When people are born with this here in the first house or in the seventh house, they tend to spend a lot of years single and alone and celibate. So one thing you need to know is if you're thinking, okay, my wife isn't interested or I'm not in the mood, it's okay. You're tending a sacred flame. You're tending the fire of your kundalini. You're not wasting your sexual energy. You want it to rise up the body. And so it's okay not to be in the mood until middle of November. Okay, first off. Number two, it's about being devotional and sacred within your Sag body. Your rising sign is your temple of your body. Your moon can be about the sacred temple of your mind and your emotions and thoughts, and your home can become a sacred temple and sanctuary and a place of solitude if you need it. And if it's your Sag sun, then your career must become sacred to you. It must be devotional, and you must tend that fire. Those are general themes. This is important because this Vestal flame energy is only here roughly every 6-7 years. And this is a time it's here. With now Hermes, ideas, your mind, your imagination, your thinking processes are activated on this moon. Now, the moon itself is coming off the eclipse of last March 29th. It was an eclipse happening in your 5th house. It was connected to sexuality, to romantic love, to the expression of your creative talents and natural abilities, and also to your entrepreneurial instincts. It's also connected to your children if you already have it. And the eclipse there may have eclipsed you from a child. Child went off to school, or falling out with a kid who's an adult. May have eclipsed you from your romantic life. It could have been a breakup with a lover, or sudden falling apart of your love life sexually in an existing love story. These are possibilities. If it happened because of the eclipse in your 5th house back in March, and now it's been unfolding ever since, that the Vestal flame is busy still working with you in a new way, saying you need to go into the inner temple, and you need to reclaim your sacred powers, and you need to think about conserving your sexual energy. It's not necessarily useful to expel it in the big O. It's time to hold it in for a while. So there you go. A little esoteric advice for you. Don't be bummed out if you're not romantically activated right now. Now, it's possible because the sun is in the 11th house and it rules your pilgrimages and temples of God and all of that. Some of you may be seeking spiritual guidance, illumination, pilgrimages, sacred journeys, and temples for sure. And that might, because the Vestal flame is flowing to the 9th and flowing to the illumination in the 5th. And if you are single and you're looking for love, this is also a energy that could eventually, within 6 months after this moon, lead to a new love story. But in the meantime, if love isn't happening, it's okay. If that's not the story for you, whether you're in a relationship or not, who cares? It's not important. You've been trying to heal a chironic wound around love, romance, sexuality, or your children relationships. That's been ongoing since 2019. This is a fulfillment energy. You might be able to really cross that Rubicon and end that challenge. That wound could come to a closure. The mystical, spiritual part of you is aligning with your natural gifts and talents. And you might be wanting to express that more in how you interface with this world. Maybe you want to own your inner mystic, your inner imaginator, your inner glamour girl or boy, because that's Neptune in your 5th house. A lot of actors will have, or Stephen King has Neptune in his whole sign 5th house, actors, performers, writers, communicators, models, anything, screenplay authors, or, all of that is signed Neptune in your 5th. It's just testing the waters. Neptune is going to be here for 13 years. It's just gotten in there for March to October 22nd to see how it feels. But you might be being pulled towards some of these mystical or enchanted or glamorous creative energies. And the moon is going to help fulfill that, help show you the way, light the path. Watch for this logos in the house of good spirit, because this may not be your words. This might be the word of an elder sibling, one above you, a friend. And you need to notice, are you liking the people who are telling you what they think? Or are you expressing their mind or their words to you? Because you're going to reflect that back in the moon in the 5th house. And so there may be a need to cull or clean up the social groups that you hang with. Okay. Just a thought, especially with Venus fallen and also on the South Node, that you let go of the friends with a bad mindset, because we take on the water we swim in kind of thing. Like the fish is like, I'm swimming in a salty water, the salty, those are salty friends. We don't want them, well, it's air. You're flying with vultures when you want to fly with eagles. So be careful with who you associate. This moon may help you change your social groups and shift them over the next 6 months. Your ideas can be quite inspired and brilliant, and you may tend to flame to your projects creatively, artistically over the course of the next 6 months from this moon in your 5th house. Don't forget Alpheratz, recognition, popular public appeal, honors, wealth, fame can happen. And that is the 5th house. It's connected to the arts, the artists, and the performers. It's one of the stage houses. So if you're any of those types and you're thinking of getting a real kickstarting your creative and artistic life, this is a great moon for you. Like it is, wow. I should have mentioned, because the eclipse happened to occur with the North Node in your fourth house, you may also move your home in the next 6 months as well. But you'll be moving your home because you want to find a place of inspiration, creativity, a really good kitchen, Vestal flames in your sign. You need those, you need your, what do you call it, wolf range with all the burners. You need a good kitchen, right? In your move. If you move in the next 6 months, believe me, you're going to move because you really like the kitchen. It's not going to like forget about the living room. You're looking for the kitchen from heaven so that you are finding the right place for you to be. Now, I drew a card for you that I didn't expect, and I'm loving it. It's the card of St. Francis of Assisi, and it's peace. And I think it's important because the way this moon is happening in your fifth house, why do I have something called spotlight in my way? Is it's activating the Dharma houses, the 9, 1, and 5, and life purpose. And, you know, when we talk about St. Francis here, we're talking about 9th house, right? Somebody who is a saint. And I did mention pilgrimages can be important for you as well. Let's take a look at this card. It's called Peace. But you know the St. Francis prayer, right? Make me an instrument of your peace. Kind of give it to God. He's from Assisi, Italy, FYI. No matter what is happening on the surface, we all know that it's in perfect harmony. Everything is flowing smoothly and effortlessly as it's meant to be. Peace transcends fear, rises above the illusion of separation, and connects you even more to the Creator. I think Denise Lynn had a spiritual awakening. It's the awareness that everything is unfolding according to divine timing. The true peace is not static and boring. It's full of grace, enthusiasm, and vitality. Serenity isn't something that you need to seek or attain. It's already within you. Remember that you can choose peace in any circumstances, even when things around you are chaotic or confusing or irritating. Breathe deeply and fully. Can I just do that right now? That just feels good. Breathe deeply and fully. I almost want to do it again. And simply choose peace. It can be that simple. If finding serenity is a challenge, spend time in nature. It's the universal balancer. Simplify your life, clear the clutter, cherish your animal companions, take care of them, and they will care for you. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. I don't know, just reading that made me feel really serene. How are you feeling in the comments? Does that resonate for you? I'd love to hear. I do read my comments. That's why I know the trolls are nasty when you do politics. All right, moving on to Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Of course, I can't read all my comments just in case you think I'm saying that. That would be impossible. On October the 6th, Capricorn, on October 6th, there is a moon that is full on the beautiful star Alpheratz in the house of home, property, land, real estate, family of origin, childhood, the midnight hour. There was an eclipse here. The eclipse happened in March at the end of the month, and very possibly it eclipsed you from a home, a place where you live. That was a solar eclipse. And it also could have shifted your perspective on your family of origin, your dad, your mom, particularly your mother relationship. It could have ended a relationship with your mom. Now, it doesn't have to be literal. It could have been like you cut the apron strings energetically, or the mother matters of the mud of the mother, our mother traumas were eclipsed and healed. And also your fourth house connects you to literally what you do home in the midnight hour when the lights are out, going to sleep. And there was a major eclipse. And I don't know if the eclipse led to some disruptions of your sleep patterns from March onward, but it may have. Now, you had a chironic wound around, where's my true home? Where do I belong? That's been bothering you on and off since 2019. And the moon and the eclipse, this eclipse and now the full moon, are trying to heal, shift, and change that. Technically, the eclipse was also activating your third house of travel or neighbors or neighborhood. And if you changed your home, some of you may have changed your neighborhood, but also the third house is aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, and siblings. So both from the March eclipse and the eclipse, the full moon here, changing your home in relationship to those people is a possibility. Moving closer to them, away from them, changing your neighborhood. All right. Now, the full moon is lighting up, recognition, wealth, success, a clear mind around the fourth house on the star Alpheratz. At the same time, reflecting logos, the word, and the sun in the 10th. The sun up here can represent your career. Logos is your thinking mind and words about it, like, how you express the creator energy within you when it comes to the word career and purpose and success and ambition. But there can be a literal, this is a sun in the house of the father in his happy place. And there can be literally a male figure, like a father figure. And it doesn't have to be a dad, like an authority figure, someone male that you look up to. And the light of that male is being reflected in the shifts that are happening in the home life and with where you live, in property, in real estate, and land. Okay, all of that. So you may be influenced by a male figure and the word of a male figure influencing you as well. The sacred flame of devotion is in the full house of enlightenment. If you want to go all the way to shunyata, emptiness, nirvana, Buddha mind, whatever it is, Jesus, Matrix, Neo, something big, it's the 12th house. It's going all the way. And the sacred flame of devotion has been here like recently, like I'd say probably 2 weeks before October 7th through to November 19th. This is an ideal time for ashrams, pilgrimages, gurus, sacred journeys, inward and outward, connected to the flame of devotion to awakening spiritually. That's a strong possibility that you may experience the yearning or the actual experience of it, traveling to distant shores and lands to connect with spiritual wisdom in service of lighting a sacred flame of devotion to spiritual enlightenment. You may also be lighting a flame that connects you to new learning under a new teacher, if that's more your everyday thing. And you might also be seeking solitude and devotional time alone. That can look like I'm alone on my yoga mat in my home. I'm sitting in a cave by myself. I'm, lighting candles in my bedroom at night and quietly, pondering my navel. I mean, whatever it is, a solitude and sacred devotion go together. Pay attention to your dreams at night. The South Node is in the Temple of Dreams. Mercury, the dream messenger, also Hermes, the same guy, is in the 12th. This is opening up your dream vista at night, your nocturnal dreams for divine inspiration and spiritual surrender and turning points. Some of you may find a spiritual teacher who's female. That's Venus in her sacred Virgo temple with the South Node. And if you were to encounter a teacher of any kind, or a spiritual teacher, or a guide, or a mentor, or a therapist, ninth house stories, advisors who are females in the wake of this full moon, they can be very supportive and influential of your journey in life, especially the one toward awakening. And on a very practical note, a full moon can complete a place of home. There may be an ending to where you live, helping heal the chironic wound of not knowing where to go. Neptune is here. You might be drawn to a place that is watery, that is spiritual. You might move to a spiritual place, or a watery place that's also Aries, remote, maybe warm, maybe dry and warm, but also including the sea god. You need water to be near it as well. And it may be also just representing a new home connected to spiritual or enlightenment-y things. Maybe you're going to move to India and sit in the ashram every day. I don't know. Let me know what's going on for you. Shall we pick a card for you guys from Denise Linn's Time Traveler's Oracle? I think Denise Linn had a spiritual enlightenment because this is one of the most deeply spiritual guidance book oracles I've done in a long time. Like, she's on her A game. She's so on her spiritual story. And I find that that's rare when you're talking about oracles. Oh, breakthrough. The moon landing. The moon landing. Well, what planet are you going to? It's a full moon. It's a moon landing in the fourth house of home and land and property. Okay, let's take a look at number 5, moon landing breakthrough. Well, if you're on a spiritual quest, there's a breakthrough. Yeah. Card number 5. Houston, we have a problem. It's natural to be afraid when you are confronted with something new or challenging. However, do not let fear prevent you from overcoming barriers. Don't forget, this applies to the 6 months that follows the moon, not just the moon. A breakthrough is at hand. Trust your instincts. Keep going. Don't stop or hold back. Oh my God, I am recording. Yeah. I had a terrible feeling I thought to start my recording after my chocolate, and I would have just killed myself. I shouldn't say that. I would never do that. Trust your instincts and keep going. Don't stop or hold back. Just as it takes effort and fortitude to be the first to walk on the moon, for a chick to hatch out of its shell, or for a seedling to push through the hard-packed earth, it will take supreme effort in your own journey to reach the light. You know, it's just like the caterpillar butterfly. All those examples are the transformation from one state, the seed to the seedling, right? The egg-bound chick to the bird that's free. There's a lot of enlightenment energy showing up here for you guys. The energy of a breakthrough isn't always neat and tidy. It's okay if things are messy and chaotic for a while. Eventually, the situation will sort itself out in peaceful reign. And you also have Uranus, the breakthrough guy, in your 6th house opposite the moon, not by degree, but by visual stance. So that can look like kaboom, like some big breakthrough coming through. All right, I'm one of you. This is Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. First things first, guys. Let's go. We have Pluto in our house, and we are becoming Pluto. We don't suffer fools gladly. We're transforming. We're turning from one, like a caterpillar, to a butterfly. We're finding our wings. We're accessing transpersonal willpower. We're surrendering to a divine willpower. These are stories that all Aquarians are going through, sun, moon, or rising, but mostly rising, and then the other two separately. Energetically speaking, we must address the story. In the backdrop, because that's a big story, and now in the foreground, we have a full moon in the 3rd house. The 3rd house, this is where the eclipse occurred back in March. This is your neighborhood, right? The local environment that you live in, and it could have been eclipsed. You might have moved to another neighborhood. And because you had the nodal axis in the 2nd house of earnings, you might have had enough money to do it, or money showed up, or you got to possess a new home. I talked about me that the moon was eclipsed, and my Aries moon was eclipsed. It is in the 3rd house, and I changed my neighborhood to the place between the hospital and the fire station, thus my sirens. But all said and done, I also had the money to afford a doubling of my rent and get a place with an ocean view. So that is exactly what happened to me. So that eclipse could have eclipsed also a relationship with a younger sibling, eclipsed you from a social media project, a media project, a writing project. It might have eclipsed you from matters to do with the relationship with a sibling when younger, especially neighbors and neighborhood. Eclipsing energy is being like blocked off there as of March 29th through till now. And that eclipse in March moved me by June, right? So that's how fast it happened. June 1st, I had a new place. And I had to move, right? My landlord sold her property. Now, the other thing I want you to note is that this full moon is on Alpheratz. My natal sun is on that star. It can bring recognition, wealth, popular public appeal, honors. It gives you a keen mind, and it's going to activate in the house of media. This used to be the 3rd house, just like, you know, ABC, NBC, magazines. I just bought the Oprah magazine today. I've never done that, but I just felt drawn to this version at the checkout stand. But it's also journalism. It's also social media, and writing and communicating, teaching and selling. Now, I'm a teacher of astrology, so this activates me, of course, right? Now, the eclipse may have changed what I want to do in the land of social media, and that is true. I began to focus on Substack and to pull away from political astrology here. That's one example, right? You could find that the full moon here, because there's a chironic wound, will heal a wound you've had with your communicating, writing, teaching, and social media. I'll have to use me an example. I'm wounded by my love of political astrology and world astrology, and the wounding of the comments, the vitriol, and the algorithmic suppression. I finally cleaned it up by moving all that to Substack for free. Go join me. So I found a solution in the wake of this eclipse. The other element here is the third house would be learning something. You might find you're called to Chiron, the guide, mentor, teacher, healer. And you might be coming into a fulfillment of a yearning for some teacher that you think is the right one for you. And so if learning, studying a skill of some sort has been on your radar, then in the fulfillment of this, you might find that place, that teacher, that learning center, that applied knowledge that you want to learn that you can actually use. Trips and travel belong to the third house, usually more domestic or local or not so far away. And this could fulfill a yearning for that travel, and it may open up doors of opportunity, usually within your own country or at least your own continent. There is also, this is a house of writing, so writing can be very profitable for you now. Now, the full moon is also talking, or like reflecting the light of this logos, the word, in the house of publications, especially book publishing. And for some of you Aquarius, you might get a book publishing excitement, deal, opportunity, or idea from this. And because I have an agent looking for my book to finally get done, and I haven't really found what I want to write, you see, that's probably going to turn that around for me. For you, it could also be a yearning for a pilgrimage. And if you want to go for a spiritual teacher, a guide, a spiritual religious path or something, but also the word is important, the logos. The word must be, purified in the temples of, the house of God and reflected back in the house of communications. So there's a big spiritual God and goddess houses activation here too. Higher mind is your ninth house. Your higher mind must align with pure words and pure mind. So maybe also that's like, clarify, purify, still the mind, meditate, practice something to still the mind, purify the mind, etc. You could be definitely attracted to storytelling, mystical travel, writing fiction, screenplays, activating more imagination. Thank you to Neptune, fulfilling something here as well. One thing I need to say, of course, is we're all talking about that Vestal flame of devotion. And in your case, it's a dedication and a devotion in the house of your long-range goals and dreams. And it's asking you to purify sacred energy, devotional energy, but it's also your influence over larger groups of people and the profits you make from your career, your 10th house. And it's a kind of a purity and a virginal energy, and it has a sacred devotion that's required for the success to happen. And so if you're putting out stuff into your world of how you make money from your career, and it's not coming off that virginal sacred refinement of that flame and of the sacred devotion, it will fall flat. You need to really be cautious about what it is you wish to speak into the world. I mean, the Vestal flame is engaging the Logos sun in the house of God. Now, don't go overly serious about this. I don't want to get you all worried about it. Of course, if you have a job where you have to market, I don't know, something you don't believe in or sell something you don't believe in, I don't know, well, then it's okay. But find the spirit of where you feel a calling about it or something more devotional to it. And now, people in the 11th house, there are people up there. This can be a sibling one older, and it can be friends and groups of belonging and allies and benefactors. And the Vestal flame is a virgin. So this is a young person, not a mother, not a crone, right? Mother, maiden, crone. This is a young person. You might come into a window of time where somebody in a youthful age, like say, not motherhood, virginal, young, pure, innocent, whatever, may come to you with Mercury, communication, to support you, to be a benefactor, to help you, to be an ally in some expression of your career, and maybe teaching, learning, writing, and communicating. It's sometimes a very literal thing. We don't have to overthink it. So there's a possibility of support from an ally who's probably youthful, or the Vestal flame spiritual, somebody who might be on a devotional spiritual path who's got something to help you with. Is it publishing, traveling, pilgrimages, writing, communicating? Watch for that to show up for you as well. Let's draw a card from the Time Traveler's Oracle deck. I'm losing the light here. It's going from darker to the sun hitting me in the face. So we have to watch out. Power. Ooh, power. Ooh. Number 32. This is dinosaurs in the Jurassic period. There is a power on that star, but the Vestal flame in the 11th house of hopes, dreams, and wishes come true is also in the house of good spirit. There's a lot of like the karmic rewards are up there. Let's take a look at number 32. Are you ready? Fellow Aquarian, sun, moon, and rising. Time Traveler's message is true power does not need to shout itself from the mountaintops. It's a steady and serene, as sure as your own might as a dinosaur. Know that who you are is enough. You are being called upon, fellow Aquarians, to claim authority in your life. If you have been giving your power away to someone or someone else, yeah, I know, guys, I gave too much power to my trolls. What have you been giving your power to? Pulling this card indicates it's time to take it to stand. Take a stand, step beyond fear and hesitation, and find the place within you that is divine and powerful beyond measure. It is safe to claim it now. Bring light into the darkness, bring support and love to those who are unfortunate. If there is a situation in your life of which you are unsure, know that by standing in your own power, you will succeed. This card can also indicate that it's time to increase your physical power through exercise, yoga, walking, and working out. You got to be kidding. My yoga mat's here. Got to use it more often. And I'm going to be, I have a gym that I never go to. I think I'm going to find myself a personal trainer to help me get motivated, but that's on my list of things to do. What kind of power are you guys looking for, Aquariuses? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear back from my fellow Aquarian crew. Finally, it is the best and always best mystic poets of our zodiac, the transcendent Pisces. Yay! Welcome to the stage, Pisces. You have been patient. Here we go. Number one, I'm not going to talk about it much, but eclipses are moving through your sign, and you might have noticed you're changing in a fated, destined way with a lot of luck not seen in this lifetime. You are lucky. I talked to my Pisces rising sister today. She said, I'm so lucky. I feel so lucky. I said, yeah, you got Jupiter in the house of good fortune flowing back to you. Yeah, you are expanding, growing into new levels of attainment of worldly success and that which you desire. Keep that in mind at the expense of dithering over your marriage partners or something like that. That backdrop aside, moving past that story, let's talk about the moon that is full in the money, earnings, and resources house. Some of you Pisces, maybe a lot of you, especially rising, but sun and moon too, may have been plagued by financial challenges and a lack of self-worth and esteem about your money, assets, resources, and possessions financially since 2019 as a Chironic wound entered your second house. And this is also, like the eclipse in March 29th of this year, trying to fix it, trying to heal that Chironic wound. And there was an eclipse in the house of money. You may have eclipsed a way of making money. It may have ended. It may have collapsed around you. You may have eclipsed a possession, something you own. Your voice may have been eclipsed. Maybe you got laryngitis. The other thing is, this is your teeth. Well, it's things on your face, nose and teeth. And there may have been some very big eclipsing. So my Pisces rising sister had to have 2 teeth pulled, and she's always had the best teeth in the family. Go figure. But if you had anything going dental, especially the eclipsing of a tooth pulled out, right? Take heart. This is like a shamanic excision. You've eclipsed. You've taken something connected to your family of origin, perhaps, and you've excised it from your karma. So think good about it. I also have another Pisces guy I know who also had a tooth pulled. I have had 2 Pisces people I know, a Pisces sun and a Pisces rising, have teeth problems since that eclipse that happened back in March. Now, there also in that eclipse was a North Node expanding you. So whatever you happened here that was eclipsed, the possession, the earnings, the voice, the teeth, whatever, it's expanding you, it's growing you, it's good for you, it's all good. Keep that in mind. Don't fret about this. But I will say, because it's your earnings and resources house, and there was something that shifted, a destined shift, that now this full moon light is showing you what the way forward will be. And it will be to engage in magical, mystical, imaginal types of earnings, compassion, love, and spirituality connected to the way you want to create earnings. Anybody who's born with Neptune in the second house is always under this spell of trying to find the spiritual part of their money story. It's difficult in our very Kali Yuga realm where we're all trying to just chase the paper. So for a while now, for the next 13 years, you have to align with that spiritual essence, unconditional love, compassion, oceanic consciousness in order to engage money. Now, of course, you can make money through glamour, modeling, storytelling, filmmaking, cosmetics, beauty. These are some ways that Neptune operates as well on the low side of the spectrum. Now, well, I would say that this is all good, which it is. I will say that you are reflecting the sun in the deep depths of your most karmic placement, the 8th house, and connecting to logos, the word. One thing I'd say is that this is also the occult mysteries, the magic, the psychics, the tarot card readers, the crystal ball gazers, and all of those occult mystery arts. And you might also want to reflect that into an earning style. Some of you might get more magical about how you make money, but logos is in the 8th house, and you need to be very cautious about the way you word things and your psychological landscape. 8th house is often the psyche, the mind, the soul, the psychological aspects of our being. So really clean that up and really inspect your thought forms, which are logos are the word, and your thoughts come in words. I don't know anyone who doesn't think in words, right? I shouldn't have done that. I'm so stupid. You want to clean that up. This is a mindset for you. You need to look at your inner landscape of your mind and how you think about your psychological comportment in life. There is also the potential here that with this logo sun reflection, there's something about money connected to your spouse that's going to be asking for your attention as you propel yourself into your own earnings. Maybe your spouse has no money or too much money, but spousal related shared resources get activated by this particular moon. And it's asking you to really inspect your own self-worth, self-value, and worthiness of the wealth you're here to attract. By 2027, Chiron leaves your earnings house and you will be healed of whatever this has been. Now, the Vestal Flame of Devotion's in the 10th house, and she's virginal. By the way, I've noticed when the Vestal Flame is in the 10th house, our sex life tanks. So, if you're married or with a long-term love partner, there might be some difficulties with your romantic life at this time. Just keep that in mind, okay? She leaves here on the 18th of November, and she wouldn't have been here since third week of September, perhaps. And so I want you to pay attention to if your sex life sucks, okay, especially with a significant partner, there could be a downturn there. It has to do with squaring the aversion to the 5th and squaring the 7th. But the Virgin is in the 10th house, and she wants you to be sacredly devoted to your work, to your career, to your visible actions in the world. And Mercury is the messenger. Do you want to speak? Do you want to write? This is Hermes. Do you want to speak? Do you want to write? Do you want to teach? What is it you're doing up here with a sacred devotion? How are you communicating into the public something as well that you think is like refining spiritual essence of something important to you? You're looking for right livelihood here in alignment with sacred devotion and connected to increased earnings. Sometimes we think we can't do that. We have to play the world game and just do what we're told or get the dumb job that makes the money. But I don't think that's true for you here. The sun is in the house of service, your 6th house, and it's activating the Vestal Flame in the house. It owns your 6th house, Leo 6th house. And you're always born to work with heart. Like if your heart's not in the work, a lot of Pisces can't do it. That's because Leo is the ruler of your 6th house of service and work and job. So this is finding a sacred flame of devotion that sparks you, that lights you up about your work. Let's get a card for you from Time Traveler's Oracle by Denise Lynn and see what we have in the sky. And it's playfulness. Now, this is a funny card for you guys to get because Scorpio is your 5th house of playfulness, right? Ruled by Mars. Not a lot going on there, but Mars is moving through Scorpio. So no, it's not. Sorry. Mars is moving through your 9th house. Cancer, the place that the temple of the moon is your 5th house. And we have a moon so we have a full moon. The moon is the ruler of your 5th house of fun, joy, enthusiasm, playfulness, a childlike wonder and awe. So that's why we got playfulness for you, because the moon wants you to be in a playful engagement to sacred work. Let's take a look at number 31. This is Woodstock, New York, the summer of love. Did you know that the summer of love is recapitulating in the astrology right now? Yeah. Yeah. So we went through this return to the summer of love. Okay. And it doesn't feel like it. I know. Number 31. Let's see how you can be playful and devoted in money, earnings, resources, and work. All right. Here we go. This card calls for delight. Delight. When was the last time you let go and enjoyed yourself? When was it, Pisces? Playfulness is absolutely necessary for your health and for your well-being. It's as important as the food that you eat and the thoughts that you think. There are times to take your responsibilities seriously and work hard, but this is not one of them. This is the moon's message. It's going to fold for 6 months after. If you're asked to take on more tasks, jobs, or responsibilities like duty, graciously decline. It's okay to say no. Really, just say no to anything that does not feel right for you on this moon and in the 6 months that follow. Give yourself a break, have some fun. Everything will work out if you do. Don't try pushing the river. It flows by itself. There's my new siren home. It's okay. I'm moving again. It's in my astrology. By next summer, I'll have another home again by like the second half of next year. Take a vacation or two, play hooky, fly a kite, listen to joyous music, dance with abandon, be spontaneous, lock the doors, turn off your phone, and put up your feet. No matter how many 5-alarm blazes are going on around you. Change your patterns, change your habits, eat with your fingers. Yes, by the way, yes. The eclipse is in the house of food style. I'm not the eclipse. The full moon is in the house of what you ingest, your food style. So watch that as well. Maybe a fulfilling of a new change of dietary habits and patterns, because that's where your teeth are, remember, and your nose. Okay. Just for today, don't be responsible. Go for a drive with no destination. Allow your inner child free reign. Giggle, be silly, be playful. It will activate your life force in a profound and mystical way. And you have Jupiter, joyous Jupiter, moving through the house of through your house of joy in your 5th house. So find that inner spark of the inner child and see where it takes you, and see if this moon can help light it up for you, because it will lead to more prosperity and career success as well. Okay, here we go. My outro. Drum roll, please. Outro. So I'm not thinking about, this is a synchronicity story. So I'm not thinking about my natal chart at all. I'm totally off the grid with it. Hang on. Coming back. I'm going to show you something. All right. So I always forget that I have Alpheratz sitting on my sun in my 3rd house of writing, communicating, media, etc., teaching. And I always forget that it's there. I always do. I don't know why. And then I was talking with one of my friends, astrologer Gary Kate, and we like to message each other and give each other cheerleading. He's on Substack with me. And, he brought up, oh my God, your stars are so powerful. We traded charts again because we traded a few years ago, we lost our data sets. He's like, you got Andromeda. Oh my God, you're an Andromeda girl. And I'm thinking, where's Andromeda in my chart? And I forgot, because Alpheratz is off my radar. She's between, Alpheratz is a star connected to the Andromeda, the chained female. Anyway, and Pegasus, a flying horse. So, and it's the belly button of the horse. So I'm connected to the Andromeda myth on my sun. And funny, when I was a kid, I was terrified by the movie, The Andromeda Strain. It made me paranoid about, germs from space, And if you haven't seen that movie, go check it out. And so there's the Andromeda impact in my childhood. My son is on the Andromeda thingy connected to Alpheratz. And then the next thing that happens after that is I pull a card from this deck a couple of days ago, Diamond Heart Seed Crystal, the Golden Age of Wisdom. It's a lovely deck. I'll use it one time on my thing. It pairs plants with crystals. And when I read about it, it's DNA activation, Lemuria, Priestess Awakening. It's connected to Andromeda. And then there was a 3rd Andromeda synchronicity. See, now I don't remember it. So So I think for me is to remind myself of that part of my story that is out of my control. And the universe is bringing, Gary Caton brought it to my attention about a week and a half ago, followed by this card 3 days ago during the eclipse. I drew this during the eclipse. I said, what does this eclipse need me to remember? And it was this Golden Age Wisdom Diamond Heart seed crystal connected to Lemuria, Priestess Awakening, and DNA activation. Of course, it's a Priestess Awakening. It was a Virgo eclipse. But it also goes into the write-up to talk about the star Andromeda or the constellation and the myth of Andromeda. So there's a synchronicity for you. Let me know in the comments, guys. Are you following the synchronicity breadcrumbs in life? They're not going to lead you the wrong way. Synchronicity can be a path to spiritual awakening. That's what it's for. It's to like kisses from God, divine memories of the big plan, the spitting. There's something more here than we know. Synchronicities tell us, like glitches in the matrix, something bigger is actually happening. So let me know if you have some great synchronicity stories coming off this eclipse. Mine is the Andromeda synchronicities. I'm recording this on Tuesday the 23rd. The eclipse was 3 days, 21st, 2 days ago. Still in the aftermath of it. Let me know. I'd love to hear. I'd love to read about other people's synchronicities. Have a wonderful full moon in Aries. Please love this up and share it. I'm putting it out way too early for the SEO to grab it, but I couldn't think of anything else to talk about on Thursday. We have a pretty quiet sky coming through right now. So if you want to share this, like this, love it up, give me some support, I would appreciate it. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.